Hello everyone, Wolfie here, this time around with some interesting facts that you knew or maybe not about the TBC. We're gonna touch some Karazhan, Outland, interesting items that were once on agenda to be put in game and much more. First fun fact is rather a legend. It says that if you sub and like the video, you get better at the game. Who knows? I'd put it to test. Anyway, number 1. With new expansion, the TBC came a new map, the Outland, and with it came the flying mounts and ability to look at the entire zones and every piece of territory from above, which meant the developers couldn't leave pieces of land unedited or just blunt like there are many in Azeroth. Transitions between zones had to be toned as well. In interviews they said, that really changed the way we kind of approach our zones, even just design-wise. Traditionally, we would create a concept on how a particular zone looks, and then right next to that zone we'll just do another concept. This time we had to actually put a lot more thought into how we transition. Concept art of Outland you're seeing on the screen is what was a breakthrough for the team to start creating what we've got. So yeah, TBC was much more harder to create than vanilla. Number 2. This one is largely familiar to everyone who looked more than superficially into the game, but I had to put it on the list. If you manage to clip into textures under Karazhan Tower, you will find an Easter egg in the shape of a smiley face. But bonus to this one is that Karazhan as part of Azeroth was actually made during vanilla, but it was left out until TBC, both by lore and game files. I guess it didn't really fit into 20 or 40 man concept, but it was too major lore-wise to make it 10 man for vanilla. Number 3. Let's go through some Karazhan facts. After all, it's one of the favorite raids of many players. Behind and under Karazhan there are old crypts, which aren't accessible to players. You used to be able to go through iron gates as a ghost, but no longer. Those crypts are quite creepy, not gonna lie. The amount of time spent on creating this, man, it's too bad it never made it into TBC. Some players think that it was supposed to be an underground Karazhan instance, or upside down Karazhan inspired by Castlevania. Nevertheless, it's interesting enough to make it to the list. Number 4. From underground, let's go higher. What? Where is it? Ah, here. Another portal and something that resembles a fly point. There was an idea to connect Karazhan with a fly point somewhere nearby, and thus to allow a portal which looks like it connects to the staircase to Prince, but it was scrapped off sadly. Everything that remains is inactive portal and non-interactable birds. Bonus to this one is what you see from inside Karazhan. Even as a normal player, you can see the skeletal griffin from Prince's Terrace. There isn't really that much info about it, but I guess it was part of Karazhan flight point inside of the instance and nether space. If you have any questions about nether space, ask away. Number 5. Let's leave Karazhan and go further away to other TBC Azerothian zones, such as ghostlands and eversong woods. These zones, along with draenei starting zones, are on different plane. They are part of the Outland map actually. It makes them available only to players who purchased TBC as a brand new expansion back then. For ghostlands, the only southern landline entrance is the portal at the south. Besides that, there is a flight point to eastern plaguelands and teleport from Silvermoon City to Undercity. If you try to swim around from plaguelands to ghostlands, you will hit the invisible wall. Number 6. While on topic of Silvermoon, the Blood Elf racial mount, nowadays known as a Hogstrider, was supposed to be named Cockatrice at first. In a classical representation, this creature is a mix of a chicken and a snake or a dragon, sometimes even referred to as a basilisk. Blizzard had to use the Hogstrider because of an unfortunate coincidental similarity of the original name to a vulgar slang term, so the name was changed. Number 7. Let's move on to Draenor, or Outland in this case. First fun fact is called the Jar of Ashes. You can find it in far south of the Hellfire Peninsula, even on foot. Basically, it's a skeleton with a jar that gives the text when you click on it.
Here is the Jar of Ashes. These are the ashes of my sanity, my passion and my drive, all utterly destroyed by themselves. May all those who look upon these desolated lands of Hellfire remember this fallen peon. He shed blood for the Alliance and sacrificed for the Horde only to be driven utterly mad by the wicked and soulless ones who devoured what he held most dear. As they feast from his toils, may they suffer his wrath, maybe not in this world but in every world hereafter. It is my declaration, my solemn oath, and my everlasting promise. I will avenge my suffering.
This is more of a reference than an Easter egg, and it refers to Tseric, a former Blizzard community manager on forums. We all heard about his downfall, as he was the frontman of the Blizzard orchestra that had to deal with toxic waste of upset player trolls who just wanted to sow salt and agony for being bad at the game. Regardless, I'll post the link in the description if you want to read more about Tseric, the community manager. Number 8. In a grand just above the Garadar, if you have a flying mount, you can find a floating piece of dirt with a tree, skeleton, axe, and a bunch of apples. Many believe that this is a reference to Isaac Newton and his law of gravity. But as you can see around Nagra and the entire Outland, many pieces of ground that are elevated and are just floating, which is a direct fact that in this world gravity is not what we know it to be. Ner'zhul and Gul'dan literally killed it. That's my take on it. Or it can be a very hidden assassination spot. Number 9. Before TBC was released 13 or something years ago, the game was much different. There were way more features, options, and items especially that didn't quite make it into the game. Or out of those that did make it, they were unobtainable by normal players. One of such items is Remote Mail Terminal. Basically, it's an engineering schematic which allows you to create a mailbox with uptime and cooldown, just like a repair bot. But it was removed before the live version of the game was released because of how mail works in-game. Every mail and mailbox has a number or some identification key, but a remote mail terminal had a temporary identity which resulted in some mail disappearing along with the remote terminal. The plan to reintroduce it remained as soon as a fix for this issue was found. Number 10. Blizzard toyed with an idea to give every class a possibility to resurrect a player, but they settled on healing classes. The way they wanted to make this possible was through a high level of first aid. In game files there is an item known as powerful smelling salts. Now this fact isn't really TBC but rather classic vanilla as well. I guess they saw this as too OP as first aid is a secondary profession and the idea was scrapped off. Too bad. Are there any facts or Easter eggs you know that I didn't mention? List them down in the comments. I'm in the process of making another one with more facts, so by the time I release that video I can feature your finds with credits. That is it for today. Go ahead and explore these for yourself. Keep finding new ways to have fun in the game. Stay safe. Until next video. Bye bye.